Hi, I'm Bentaro Rifarashi. Here are the 4 most commonly used arpeggios. I'm going to play them in C. Major 7, dominant 7, minor 7, and minor 7 flat 5, also known as half diminished. An arpeggio is really just a chord played one note at a time, which for us as bass players is how we get down. It's not very often we're called upon to do this. Cool as it sounds, that's probably going to get you fired from most gigs. So what we need to do is create bass lines, and the best way we can do this is with an understanding of harmony. And the best place to start is with the most commonly used chords, which for us means arpeggios. So here are those 4 arpeggios again, this time over 2 octaves. Now, one of the quirks of playing a stringed instrument is that there are many ways in which we can play the same thing. For example, this note is G, this is the same G, this is also G, this is also G. So there are a number of possibilities of how we can play any given thing, in this case arpeggio, on the instrument. So let's take a look at C major and see some different ways we could play it. There's 1. There's 2, there's 3, there's 4, there's 5, there's 6, there's 7, there's 8, there's 9, there's 10. Don't get overwhelmed by all of these possibilities. Find a pattern or a shape that works for you and stick with it until you're comfortable with it and it's ingrained, then start to look at some other possibilities. Do it a little piece at a time, otherwise it's just too much information and that's not going to help. A great way to add these arpeggios into your daily practice routine is to use them as a warm-up and to run them through all 12 keys. To do this, I use the circle of fourths, but you could use the circle of fifths or you could do them chromatically. But I like the circle of fourths since most popular music tends to move in fourths. Not all of it, but a lot of it. What I like to do is play them continuously with a metronome or a backing track at a nice easy tempo just to loosen my hands up at the start of my practice session. I'm not going to play all 12 keys now, but round the circle of fourths I would play them on C, then F, then B flat, then E flat, then A flat, then D flat, then G flat, which could be F sharp, then B, then E, then A, then D, then G. Done. Notice I put all of those notes on the E string because I'm doing a 2-octave pattern that takes me from here to here. If I do that starting on the A string, it's a huge jump. It's not really practical. Something to consider when working this through other keys is places where you'll need to use an open string. So in the key of F, the major third is A, so that's going to be on an open string. Remember C, we had this. But if this is now the first fret, I haven't got a -1 fret, so it's open. Also E, if I'm starting down here at the bottom, I'm playing 4-string bass, I'm not playing 5-string, so that means my major third is now here because I don't have a -2 fret. So E and F are going to seem a little bit harder to play at first. They're not harder, they're just a slightly different pattern. So the more you practice them, the easier they're going to get. Moving beyond the 7th chord or the arpeggio, we can start to add extensions or tension tones. So on a major 7, if I take the Lydian mode as the basis for my extensions, I'm going to have a root, 3rd, 5th, 7th, 9th, sharp 11th, and 13th. That's quite a big arpeggio to play, so one thing that's cool to do is to break it into 4 separate 7th chords, starting from the root, the 3rd, the 5th, and the 7th. That gives me root, 3rd, 5th, 7th, 3rd, 5th, 7th, 9th, 5th, 7th, 9th, sharp 11th, and 7th, 9th, sharp 11th, and 13th. And I can do that for all of my 4 arpeggios here. With dominant 7th, I will take dominant 7th with a sharp 11, so the so-called Lydian dominant. The reason I do this rather than take it from the mixed Lydian mode is because if I use that perfect 4th on a dominant chord, it's kind of a different sound now. It's a dominant sus chord, whereas I could really use that sharp 11th on a dominant chord. So I would have root, 3rd, 5th, 7th, 9th, sharp 11th, 13th. So only one note different from the major 7, but let's put it in 7th chords. So if we think about that for a moment, we've got a C dominant 7, but then we've got an E minor 7 flat 5, which is actually my 3rd, 5th, 7th and 9th of C. Then I've got G minor major 7, and finally I've got B flat major 7 augmented, or major 7 sharp 5. If I look at my minor 7, I've got root, 3rd, 5th, 7th, 3rd, 5th, 7th, 9th, 5th, 7th, 9th, 11th, and 7, 9, 11, 13. Now I'm taking this from the Dorian mode because it's the most commonly used minor mode. And finally, minor 7 flat 5, I would have root, minor 3rd, diminished 5th, flat 7th, or minor 7th, then 3rd, 5th, 7th, flat 9th, 5th, 7th, flat 9, 11, and then 7, flat 9, 11, flat 13. But what am I going to do with all this stuff? All this information? What I like to use it for is for improvising or for fills within grooves. So let's say, for example, you're going to play an A minor 7 groove, something like this. A lot of times your go-to scale choice would probably be minor pentatonic. But what if you were to take the major 7th arpeggio from the minor 3rd of A, remembering that we've got C major 7 is A minor 7 from the 3rd, 3rd, 5th, 7th, 9th, root, 3rd, 5th, 7th, 9th, 3rd, 5th, 7th, 9th. So let's compare how those two sound. They sound quite different from each other and they each have their uses. It's up to you to decide which one you like or which one you think works better in any given scenario. This has been a super quick introduction to arpeggios that's actually covered quite a lot of ground. There's a lot of information here. So go back to the start, think about those simple 1-octave arpeggios and get those down first. Work through this stuff logically. If you're looking for further information, some theory background information on this kind of stuff, or some groove examples of how you can put these arpeggios to work, then check out the free lessons section on bentarorifferashi.com. And for the PDF that accompanies this lesson, hit the link underneath, both links underneath. Thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See ya!